Ladies and gentlemen, if you can believe it, we are about to watch Bonyth and Dewalt play Cosmonarchy, Protoss versus Protoss. I hope you are excited because this is a never-before-seen matchup in this particular environment, but one with such a grand story behind it, rich history, back and forth, the rivalry on display. This is a rematch of the most recent BSL finals. This is a rematch of many a BSL finals and many another foreign StarCraft 1 Pro match, but it's in Cosmonarchy, so it's gonna look just a little bit different. We got Benno giving us a cheer. Thank you, Benno. Hype indeed. We're hoping that everybody is having a good time, and as you can see, we are still raising money for this here show match. Don't worry, even if it takes us a little bit longer than today, the players are still going to get paid out by the end of the day. I'll cover it. But we are looking for anyone who wants to donate towards this effort and turn it back around for us. That is going to be a very exciting time as well. You can do your donations through none other than this link right here, streamlabs.com/Pronogo. I appreciate all of the support. Bonyth and Dewalt are going to be duking it out here on the latest version of the game on pre-release, the Cutting Edge. This is going to be a very exciting time precisely because we are in a situation where, well, Bonyth picks the first map. He's played the game a little bit. He's participated in a show match already, but he hasn't fought against another Protoss. And I have a feeling that Dewalt will have his own ideas of how to go about things. Now, to my knowledge, Dewalt has not practiced against other Cosmonarchs, but he may have roped in a few homies to help him out a little bit. I know that earlier today, Bonyth was practicing versus Arbuz, one of our upper-level Protoss players, so that must have been interesting. And then, of course, we had ourselves some Dewalt, at least downloading some replays, watching some VODs, getting his own theory down. So they've approached this with a very different sort of thought process, shall we say. You know what that means, though. It's time to introduce our players. It is going to be a very interesting time indeed, because what we're dealing with is Bonyth, the reigning BSL champ, narrowly won over versus Dewalt in a very hotly contested series. He's participated in Cosmonarchy events already. He's played just sort of casually, just, I feel like I'll play a couple of games of Cosmonarchy today. Stuff like that. Very cool, indeed, as a result. And one of the other things that I think is worth pointing out here about how Sir Bonyth has approached the game is we didn't see him do much prep before the first show match, and he almost immediately knew the things to do. So that already tells you a little something about him. That tells you he's the kind of guy who has that theory down, who prefers to jump into single player for a little bit and get his build orders down before he does anything else. And that, to me, is very interesting. Over on the other side, and just giving him a slightly different musical track for the sake of a little bit of variety, we have ourselves with Dewalt. Dewalt is a player who, like I said, I haven't seen him play in Cosmonarchy yet, but he has been familiar with it for perhaps the most out of any StarCraft 1 Foreign Pro. As I was in his chat one time, probably 2 years ago, talking about, oh yeah, we changed this and this thing and that thing, and so he was aware. He was aware, but will he be up on the meta? Will he be fully up to snuff on that? Well, I'm not so sure that the answer to that is yes. We are going to need to take some time to figure this one out, but Dewalt is here, and he is going to be playing. So, without any further ado talking about our players, I think it's time to answer some questions about just how good they are, just how ready they are. I will ask them if they are ready now. We can jump right into our first match. Go from Dewalt. And it will be Tesseract starting us off here. Bonyth's pick, a Port of Luna, but with some interesting high ground features, including some Monuments of Sin. Quick chat shout out. We have Kandra Melik, Shambler, Jackie Langsky, Biddy B, Krankendow, Fenris, Noichurn, Sausage, Adel, or Adele, not sure how you say that. I think I got everybody, but welcome one and all. Obviously, Benno was also chatting earlier. Hope you guys are having a good time. GG, GL, HF. That's it. That's all we needed to see. People type in Morse code in StarCraft and RTS games. We're getting into our first ever match here. between these two players. The first time we will be seeing Dewalt participate in Cosmonarchy. And its horizontal spawns along the top half of the map. Dewalt is our Palatinate Blue Protoss. Bonyth, our dark green Protoss. Top left, top right. Well, let's see what they end up doing. That's the sound.
Live from my bathtub.
There you go. We're from Lucky Noob's bathtub. Shout out his bathtub. Thank you for the dono, sir. Appreciate it. No surprises here that Bonyth will open Gateway, but what is Dewalt thinking? He's got a lot of money. He's got a lot of cash. Is he going to try Nexus first? That doesn't seem right. Is he doing a StarCraft 1 build order? Is he going to do a pylon opener? I mean, the Nexus provides a power field. Oh my god, he's actually going to open Nexus. Oh, wow. Okay, Bonyth, what are you going to do? Are you going to scout on a 4-spawn map with Cosmonarchy's slower workers than StarCraft 1's? Do you dare? Do you dare? I mean, what a baller move from Dewalt to open with that. Okay, we're already rewriting the history books here. We're already trying to figure out what are we going to do about this situation, because it is going to be a 2-gate with a Hierophant scout. And there's nothing that's going to be able to defend this. This could fall so flat in about a minute's time. Waiting with bated breath, but Bonyth is going to make us wait a little bit longer. If this had been like a Legionnaire opener, he starts scouting everything out, seeing what's up, that could be really deadly. But Dewalt, Gateway into Lattice after his Nexus. Okay. All right, and this is the fateful choice. Does Bonyth go left or does he go? He goes down. He is going to the bottom right. Oh, the humanity. Well, there's none of that here. Oh, the Protoss sanity. 2-gate Lattice, Nexus. I can't believe it. He's gonna get away with it. The rat, the man. What a bold choice. So it's going to be a 2-Drac idle gateways. We're going to pop that Nexus down here for Sir Bonyth. And he's going to think, yeah, this is a pretty reasonable Nexus. 230 Nexus. We'll take that. Meanwhile, Dewalt already getting his Warden up. Vassal for scouting. We've got Ecclesiasts coming behind Bonyth. All right.
Is that a fucking
All right. Appreciate the follow, Adel. SC123, yeah. How about 101? Apparently, this is Protoss 101 in any game. Nexus first, doesn't matter. The Hierophant will end up finding... And when he walks in here, and there's another Hierophant on the other side to slow him down. The Vassal is scouting. Doesn't really see much. You can surmise 2-gate from that. The Warden zones him away. He doesn't even chance the Hierophant. Okay. It's going to be a pretty heavy focus on Striders here for Bonyth. He's rounding up his extra Dracodons. His attempt is to bust, and he's made the Ecclesiasts as anti-melee in case Dewalt has gone for Zealots, which did get marked as his favorite unit when he was signing up for it. Ardent Authority at the natural, likely for Emergency a Cantor. That's the Reaver equivalent. His Hierophant's tagged, though. That's a really important unit. When they have that red overlay, they blow up and give attack speed to the enemy. So you really got to watch out for that. Yeah, just like that. Now you're going to see Dewalt's army. Well, it would have stuck around a little bit longer, but instead he tags his own. So that was Bonyth's Hierophant slowing down Dewalt's. He's got another one in reserve. Our Russian Protoss not out of this yet. Bulwark going to finish up shortly. In addition to providing static detection, that will also give you a nice little shield sustain. And yes, I did say that right. The Warden does not provide static detection, the Photon Cannon equivalent. You need specifically the Bulwark. Expanding out his build radius, because true StarCraft 1 pro players will always make pylons. And I hope that our homegrown Cosmonarchs learn from that. Pylons are important. Embassy down here for Bonyth. Extra Warden for his own little edification. Warden Bulwark. Yeah, okay, they're kind of mirroring each other's defensive network. We'll see if the Ardent Authority is going to go ahead and make anything in particular. Idols, Hierophants, a gateway. So one thing I'm noticing, okay, finally we have some tech here from Mr. Dewalt. It's going to be a Grand Library. and a gateway to follow it up. So definitely adding more chaff production, right? We're talking 4 gate, 1 lattice. Let me also point out, our worker production is still advanced for Dewalt, but he's not going into an extra third base anytime soon, right? Faster third base. Bonyth going to go for the Witness. One of the things that's, I think, worthwhile here... Okay, we're getting some more tech development from Bonyth as well. We'll talk about that in a second. He's gone for these idols, but they do struggle versus armor, and he has no manifold. So that's something you can make from the lattice, that when it attacks, it gives armor pen to all units around it. Help you ignore that armor. So we'll see what he wants to do out of the lattice, if it's ever anything other than the initial scout, vassal, and all of those idols. A Witness is now leaving the building here for Bonyth, and he's going for an Envoy, which is our shuttle equivalent. He has a Positron in 2. A second one on the way, I should say. But what is he going to plan on dropping here? Both players going to go ahead and drop their Pylon. I love the Pylon before the Nexus. It's so StarCraft 1 coded, and is it any surprise? Now, the Bulwark does provide detection, and Bonyth should know that. He should remember that. In fact, he actually requested, or argued for, I should say. He successfully argued his point, in my opinion, that static detection should have more vision range, more detection range, as mobile detection is obviously mobile, so you don't have to worry about it as much. So he almost got hoisted by his own petard in a funny way, because that is active on this patch. Very nice army there for Dewalt. You can see Bonyth set up in a concave. His Positrons have been excarred at the little extremity of his base, and they can do an unforgettable amount of damage to workers, especially with this Matrix not quite finished. Watch out! We're starting out with 21 workers, and we are dropping them like flies. So many going down. That's instantaneously going to give Bonyth the worker advantage. And he'll scoop them up afterwards. So that was probably something that Dewalt hadn't seen. Now, this isn't really like when you get an Acantor or a Reaver loose in your enemy's mineral line in PvP. Dewalt can come back from this deficit. It's not that difficult for him to do so. He's going to throw his Golem into the sort of right to the Wolves, and the Zealots are going to try to engage upon these Striders. This isn't really the most elegant fight from Dewalt, but he is going to go ahead and try to use his manifolds to boost the armor pen of those idols. They're kind of off to the side. That red sparkle overlay was also working. That's the attack speed overlay, but now a Pariah is hitting. This is a very powerful crowd control unit that has a lot of durability as well, and it's not really being focused down. Not quite in range of the Bulwark either to get that shield sustain. It does feel like Dewalt is maybe over-expecting. After losing so many workers, he thought he would be really down in the dumps, but look, he's almost caught back up already, yet his army is what is in question now. So Bonyth forces an engagement, needs all hands on deck. It doesn't look like this Pariah is going to stick it out, but it will give you that extra little attack speed force afterwards, and that is going to allow these Striders, these Draconids, our Dragoon equivalents, to just absolutely run roughshod over what Dewalt has. He's got a couple more reinforcements coming, and that'll be it. However, we do have that extra base set up. It's not actually done yet for Bonyth. That's one of the reasons why the worker production has started to favor Dewalt. He's caught back up there. A Herald, a very important unit for making engagements happen. You saw that Scribe go down and then speed up the allies. If you die in the presence of a Herald, and you're an ally of the Heralds anyway, you will speed up your allies as part of your last will and testament kind of vibe. So we'll see. Still being kind of cowed in, and it does look like Bonyth wants to take a stab down here, making himself some flying workers, the artisans. They don't build structures, but they harvest resources. We'll see what he wants to do with that. An engram being warped in behind, that can be sniped almost immediately. However, it does feel like Bonyth knows he's going to get crunched on by whatever Dewalt has for an army, which honestly isn't that much. Bonyth has to concede. He feels like he can't come back from losing that base. Little did he know, oh, Dewalt concedes, but Bonyth had that third base not even mining yet. And that still ends up being the first game in favor of Bonyth. Dewalt not able to make it through. And that's gonna be a stinger. That's gonna sting a little bit there for Dewalt if he ever ends up watching that one back. He's gonna say, wait, I wasn't actually that far behind. I lost those workers, but it didn't even really mean anything. I could have just stuck it out and done it from there. Yeah, it turns out. Switching on back over to our view, we see the prize tracker for these players. One game is $10. And we will see what Dewalt wants to play for our second map, because that is going to be how the rules work. He can pick any map he wants that hasn't already been played. It's funny that they shared the the horizontal, like the top strip. So we never got to see the middle used, really. Except for the end there. Interesting. Okay, we're going to be going to Paradise, an adaptation. I won't say port, an adaptation of Dante's Peak. Cranking now asking, why does it look like Dewalt knows what he's doing? Because he seems to. He certainly seems to. Paradise up next. This is going to be an opportunity for Sir Dewalt to give it another go. And I think we're actually going to go ahead and try on the lowest available latency as opposed to high. And don't worry, I will update the score down here in just a moment. And on our Twitch channel. Oh, Bonyth wants it on high. You got it. From this point onward. Dewalt on the bottom right, our Dark Lavender Protoss. Top right, Bonyth is our Orange Protoss. And whilst I update the scores on the doors, Bonyth is up by 1. We go for 9 games, no matter the outcome. This is not a best of 9. This could be a 9-0 for Sir Bonyth. And by the way, I'm always probably going to reach for the name Dewalt. Or sorry, well, I did the opposite there. I'm always going to reach for the name Bonyth when I'm trying to think about which Pro Protoss is playing Cosmonarchy. It's a little bit of a pinch me, I'm dreaming moment to have both of these Pro Protosses playing Cosmonarchy. So, listen, that's just the way it is. Now, we also do offer some Gamba over on the side of Twitch. So if you're on Twitch and you would like to gamble on the outcome of this match, I will give you a brief period of time to do so. Bonyth versus Dewalt. You decide who wins, not the whole series, just this game. And the Gamba is now live, if you are of interest. Dewalt is going to center lattice. So I hope that you can you can bet quickly on the outcome of this game. You got one person already saying it's it for Bonyth. The center lattice and then the cross scout. He's going to eliminate that position. It's a double center lattice, no less. And the scribe is not going to go that way. Here's the thing. If this was a StarCraft 1 match, you would probably cross scout or end scout so that you could see that proxy in the middle of the map. You probably would, right? It's StarCraft 1, it's PvP. You're going to have that happen. I think that's a fair assessment. Oh, what? A golem first? Okay. All right, Dewalt. I don't know. That's a peculiar choice. That is a peculiar choice. And the Hierophant is moving across the top strip, so it's also going to miss this in the middle. A third lattice. So he's going to scout his opponent first and see a Nexus, but nothing else. He almost pulled it away too soon. Well, the Hierophant is going to chase down the Scribe. Is it going to get curious and go for the middle? No, he's going to wrap around. Okay, well, we're getting Golem Sim? I don't know what is happening, guys. I have no clue. I have no clue. He needs like a Warden or something. He's just going to get attacked by the Hierophant, right? Does he know that? Does he sense that? This is going to... Oh, no. Oh, dear. The Striders are going to come in. They're on a move command, but of course, Bonyth will see that. Say, hey, what's going on here? As it turns out, the Golem is not a great fighting unit. When you have like 3 of them, they can shield sustain each other really nicely and just never die. But also the Hierophant actually ends up coming back. He's got a second one. Okay, maybe that can help a little bit. Nah, the Focus Fire is too good for Bonyth here, I think. He's ignoring the Sim, which is actually a really smart move here. I mean, you can try to just kill it, but Dewalt's sort of finding out in real time which units are good. Or maybe he already knew about this unit and he wants to specifically see if he can... Oh, body blocked! GG. Can't make that one happen. And Bonyth is probably just like, what? Excuse me? And that will wrap that one up nice and early. All right. I didn't even really get a chance to explain how, like, the dynamics here make a lot more sense for, like, could be a big brain move to try to proxy in the middle, because Bonyth has played enough to know, Cosmonarchy to know nobody proxies, and then Dewalt proxies, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to abuse that knowledge, because I haven't played that much to know that nobody proxies. Wild scenes here, but we will need another map afterwards. Oh, he says, let's just go for cool names, and then selects Dyadic Shore. There you go, Biddy B. The pros are going to be playing on your map now. We'll go ahead and get another Gamba up pretty soon here. So far, that first game showed a lot of promise. That second game, okay, we all fall down sometimes. We all fall down sometimes, but let's see what he can do. Let's see how it goes, boys. We are getting into our next map, indeed. And that means that it's time. It's time to say, gamble. And it's time to say, use your eyes and see. Down here in the bottom left, it is Dewalt. Lemon, Protoss. Bonyth, red Protoss. Now, this map is not cross-spawn. This map is top left, bottom left. I think Dewalt was just surmising that based on the base shape. You actually do get the stuff revealed, right? Although it doesn't look like for Witness the resources are revealed, so that's a bug that Biddy B will have to fix in this map at some point. It's true, that game didn't count. He only mined with 5 workers. Can't believe it. The last game was to give Bonyth a sense of false confidence, says Adel. All right, all right. We dig that, we dig that. It is going to be a gate opener for him. He's down to... He's going straight into the, normal stuff, right? The stock standard stuff. So I think that's great. I think that's beautiful. I also think it's totally wonderful that he did Nexus first on a 4-spawn map. That was amazing. As always, even when pros are getting kind of owned, which, the first game wasn't an own. The second game was an own. Maybe an own goal. But I hope Dewalt's going to end up coming away from this show match thinking, yeah, it was pretty fun. I have no idea if that's what I was going to feel. I guess that'll depend on how Bonyth is feeling. But there you go. That's a possibility. People talking about the proxy. I feel like the proxy could have been anything other than golems, and he might have been in a much better spot. Like, if you do Sim Vassal, that's actually a pretty deadly proxy, and it only requires minerals. Golems also only require minerals, but they require a lot of them. And he went for triple lattice, right? And so, he had no defenses, so it was really difficult to make it work. But he planned that. He planned that in some sense. Lattices do feel like they're a lot easier to go ahead and drop and immediately make units out of than gateways. Gateway units do take longer. That might have been a contributing factor. Bonyth immediately going to get tagged. Oh, he's even got his scribe nearby here for the expand. So this will end up favoring Dewalt, but he's not orb walking the Hierophant, and so when you get slowed like that, it can be a bit challenging. Is he going to send reinforcements to try to help? It looks like the answer is yes. The Hierophant, as you can see, doesn't do incredible amounts of damage, so this Hierophant will be safe. Bonyth's Hierophant will be safe. I was going to say the red one, but I mean, it's red in multiple ways. It's red color. Oh, he's actually brought a second one. Okay, you got to be somewhat careful. There is a Strider of his own here. Oh, there's the pick, though, and that is going to increase the attack speed of everybody else. You can see him just focusing down individual targets. You slow the attack speed when they have the red overlay, and you gain attack speed when you, yourself, kill an enemy with the red overlay. So, one Hierophant claimed, but at the cost of a Hierophant and 2 Dracodons. Not a favorable trade for Bonyth. They are both expanding at the same time. Doesn't look like Dewalt wants to push his advantage, but he definitely has one right now. Whether he decides to actuate that, it remains to be seen. It also feels like both players knew where each other were, right? Like, Dewalt sort of looked at the map and said, well, it's probably not top right, bottom right. It's probably across over here into the top left. And Bonyth has probably played on this map before, or at least seen it be played. So there you have it. I can't remember if this map was played in a PvP set between Shambler and Nebline, but I did set that to Dewalt as prep. Now he's going to go ahead and try to attack forward. The Ecclesiasts are going to have a hard time helping here, because this is a bunch of ranged units, right? They had a little bit of DPS, but oh my god, yeah, they also just get annihilated by the Dracodons there if given the opportunity. So this is looking like Dewalt could just push for an early victory here. The Warden is not going to finish. What has he got coming over here? Just more Striders. He is going to have to pull the Scribes. It seems almost a guarantee in order to get himself out of the situation. Now, is Dewalt overstepping? That's another question. Oh, instant snipe. No cancel on that Warden. Meanwhile, the Dracodons are going to get focused down here. Bonyth losing them piece by piece. He does finally end the Hierophant. That's going to allow his units to be a lot more mobile. Maybe he can get the Scribes in if he gets a drill down as this ramp is occupied, but that's the only hope, and Bonyth has to tap out. Dewalt finishes him off in a very, very convincing style. No chance to catch breath. No chance to decide. That's a dub for Dewalt. Just like that, we're 1/3 of the way done through our series. I can't believe how fast it's going. The second and third games have been blistering pace. Man, only 2 people voted for Dewalt in that gamba, by the way. We had 1.2K bet on Bonyth. Almost nothing bet on Dewalt, but that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. Some prescient people in the chat. Or I should say prescient. I keep thinking it's like pre-science, prescient. But anyway, it ain't. We go to Demilune for our next matchup. Selected by Bonyth, now that he has lost a map. Are we going to see the comeback? That is the question. Are we going to see Dewalt start to get up there? Philosophers indeed, Jack. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting into our next matchup. It's Demilune, a port of Overwatch. And we have Bonyth in the bottom right. He is our Scarlet. No, Electric Orange Protoss. And Dewalt in the top left is our Ultramarine. But it was Zephyr Protoss. And just like that, the color guesses are out. I have failed. I am the Emperor on the Golden Throne doing his damnedest to defend against the gods of chaos. However, because I guessed the colors wrong, I'm sure this match will be absolutely deranged. Gateway for both players, though, so far it's not starting out that way. No red. There's red in your username, Jack. You can't lie like that. You're red. By the way, I have had my coffee today. I just wanted to let you guys know that. Coffee is pretty good. Pretty good thing. Two gates for both players. They tried to do a very similar expand build, right? It was 2-gate expand for both of them. Bonyth has kind of been playing the same style the whole game. I know Dewalt hasn't, like, spent time watching the replay because he just joins the lobby immediately. So, I don't know. I don't know about that one. But it will be those Hierophants. Our Protoss players love the Hierophants. Neblime would smile upon this series. Peason says he's a believer. Oh man, this is still contested. People keep deciding. You know, they're having a hard time betting on this series. Let's go Dewalt, says Peason. Hell yeah. Got the 2 gates. Expand coming from Dewalt. He just goes ahead and... Yeah, I see what he's doing differently. So it's the Hierophant double Drac, double Ecclesiast, then expand, I think. Or I guess it's double Drac into expand. But Dewalt does have his expand up a little bit faster. So... One thing Dewalt's doing right now that I'm not sure about Bonyth. Yeah, so he's triple saturated his gas, but you actually want your third worker on the ridge. It's a little bit more efficient. It doesn't equate to too much, but, you know, Bonyth knows that. So the expansions are a little bit out of sync in terms of timing, but it's maybe by like 30 seconds or something. It's not that much. Now this map is a little bit harder to make those super early game rushes work, even if you end up punishing your opponent with the Hierophant picks. And the answer can be tricky to divine in the middle of the fight because of the slow. You might think, oh man, I just need to get the hell out of dodge. But what he could have done, Bonyth, in that last game, is as he was retreating with his slowed Hierophant, he had his Striders come up, which was a good move, right? The Dracodons came up to support. He could have just started targeting down the enemy Hierophant and then disengaged, right? Tried his best to sort of force Dewalt to sort of blink instead of continuing on the push. All right, so this equates to about 1 worker advantage here for Dewalt. It's not that much, as mentioned. It was even less than 30 seconds, actually, as far as the difference goes. And we do have an Ardent Authority for Bonyth again. If he ends up going Embassy, we will suspect the Positron drop. That, from Bonyth's POV, probably got him ahead. In actuality, it just made him even from the earlier expand from Dewalt. That was all the way back on Tesseract, game 1. And from Dewalt's perspective, it probably also got Bonyth ahead, but he had no idea that he was so far ahead from the early game. Nexus first not being punished. So it's interesting. We'll see how it goes. There's the Embassy, and we have some Zealots filtering in, finally. Good to see those. People asking for Legionnaires in the chat as well. I mean, at least they're on your screen, you know? They're the icons for the behind the Bonyth and Dewalt names on the overlay. That's that's the best I can do right now, unfortunately. Dewalt's going Rogue Gallery. So the significance of this is that it does produce Kabbalists. In the series that I sent him for study, which I don't know if is the only one that he made, that he ended up watching, the Kabbalist did play a pivotal factor in that Protoss versus Protoss. So it's our version of the Dark Templar. It doesn't remain cloaked when attacking. It decloaks when it attacks, but if you break cloak on it to attack, which you have to in order to attack in the first place, every time it breaks cloak, it gains 20 extra damage. And it's only for the first attack, so it's like a temporary buff. You kind of want to just slide in, slide out kind of thing. By the way, Dewalt has a lot of Hierophants, which don't do a lot of damage. Comparatively, the army that we see in terms of the Strider count is 4 to Bonyth's 6, and he's making 2 more. So Dracodons are going to be much heavier hitters, but I could see a world where the Hierophants end up kind of bopping them. Now, the Kabbalist is here, but so too is the Witness, so the first one is going to get bopped immediately. I also don't know if Dewalt knows how the Kabbalist works now, either. With his own Witness on the way, you can tell that he knows exactly where to look for it. It is in the Embassy. Don't have upgrades in Cosmonarchy, and so he ends up just retreating, which I feel mixed about. If you were going to retreat your army all the way back, the question is, like, what is your opponent then going to do? You're giving your opponent a lot of map control then, is what it feels like. So Bonyth's Prostration stage is done. He's making his Pariah. Positron coming out. Positron number 1. You can fit 3 Dracodons in an Envoy now. That was another balance adjustment that was made at one point. Oh, he's got a second Positron, actually. First one already done, second one on the way. So he's going to do the Positron drop that he did game 1. A Crucible is starting, and that will empower the Gateway and the Prostration stage here. Pariah on the way, capping his gas. This is all well and good, but he does need to watch out for the inevitable Envoy. So this pylon getting domed is great position, actually, for Dewalt. He knows where his enemy's army is, and he's going to set up a third base here, which could also get canceled. There's the Witness. Tags it with the Hierophant. It's dead. Very important stuff there. Oh, but he doesn't see the drop. It doesn't fly over where the pylon is in there. So what's his reaction time for that? He needs to get back up there with a couple of units. He pulls his workers a lot more preemptively. Losing only 3, it looks like. Maybe 2 for the gas. Very, very good reaction there. Oh, he even tags it with the Hierophant. It needs to unload now. Gets all of it. Okay, so that's a wrap. Straight back in. And remember, that the gas, delay, if you will, from that attack doesn't matter too much here for Dewalt because he's got his Aquifer. He's capped it. He doesn't know about capping the ridge just yet. You can do that as well. You can see Bonyth has done that here with his Sedent. Crucible. He scouted it from his opponent. Bonyth making a Mind Tyrant. Oh yeah, baby. We're going to get some mind control on the field. Nexus already about half done. Dewalt's going to set his up a little bit late, but he set up some defenses. Make it a little bit frustrating for Bonyth to attack in. Aquifers are the same amount of minerals as a Nexus, by the way, so they are pretty pricey. Bonyth also teching into some artisans out of his embassy. Haven't seen that just yet from anybody else. They do return resources remotely. Big worker transfer. Oh yeah, he had a lot. Man, he's basically going to instantly saturate the minerals over here. Perfect timing there as well. Dewalt cycling over. Doesn't have a big worker transfer of his own. Does he know about the sort of saturation rules? He's a little bit more oversaturated in these bases than Bonyth is. Bonyth has remembered how the economy works, and I'm not sure Dewalt ever learned in the first place. So, not something that I always talk about, but you want to count the number of mineral fields. Its standard is 7 in mains and naturals. This one obviously has more than that. Has 10. You want to count the mineral field count and multiply by 2, and that's the minimum saturation you want on a base before you start transferring away. Your third worker on each patch is less efficient. That's how you can think about it. So, in this particular case, Bonyth can have baseline saturation of 20 over here. Witness fights, but Bonyth escapes. Oh, maybe not. Tagged. Doesn't get a chance to scout the 12 o'clock, so doesn't know about that base just yet. Mind Tyrant has chosen a Pariah as the Malefactor, and you know, if you thought Pariahs were tanky before, when you're a Malefactor, you gain the energy bar of the Mind Tyrant as an extra bit of health. Also, more to the point, when you damage a unit, it's debuffed, and if it dies, it becomes mind-controlled after a short delay. So that's basically how the mind control stuff works here. You can start controlling a large amount of enemy armies, and oh my god, Dewalt's also made a Mind Tyrant, boys! Boys! He's chosen the wrong target. He intended to choose the Pariah, I think. He's going to need to wait for energy and then choose a new one. As you can see, it takes some channel time. A little bit of setup. Maybe he thought he could choose more than one. I don't know. Witness tries to get a look in. Destroyed by Bonyth's army. Oh, he's only got the Dracodon. He needs to... he doesn't need to turn it onto the Pariah. He could just end up having a better engagement. Setting up pretty deadly. You can see Bonyth trying to scatter. Doesn't want to be too far away with the Mind Tyrant. You can see that orange overlay means that it's not active. Yeah, there you go. Out of range of the Tyrant. Man, is this really where they want to take the fight? 2 more Pariahs coming in to reinforce Bonyth's army. Artisan from Dewalt's in the bottom left scouts out what Bonyth was doing, and 6 o'clock being taken. By the way, another point of, a point of principle here, I guess you could say, is that there's a double gas base that Bonyth has, double geyser, whereas that's not the case over here. Dewalt has great saturation on the minerals. He can definitely look to double expand from this position. What is he going to do next? Bonyth still cycling back and forth. Hasn't found where his opponent is. This could be a really deadly wrap-up. It's only scribes coming that will still provide a little bit of advance warning. This is going to lead to a really critical decision. If Dewalt does not fall back, if he just leaves a few units here and then abandons, or sets up for a better attack, he can absolutely have a good time here. He can shut down the base and not lose most of his army. But Bonyth is also coming in with a very awkward push. Looks like he's stolen one of the zealots, by the way, with the Dracodon, the Dracodon Malefactor. And finally, he's going to go ahead and crush through the power of this position. Bonyth making 2 more Mind Tyrants. And an Optecton has hit the field. We glossed over the Tier 4 tech, but Bonyth sure didn't. Oh, leading with the Mind Tyrant is a very, very bold move. If Bonyth was in this position on the wraparound, he absolutely could have run roughshod over the army. Poor Zealot will end up being culled. Wrapping around ahead of time, once again. Pulling the Witness away after. Oh, he needs to pick and choose his fights. He is coming in with a very superior engagement before Bonyth's artillery can rain death upon him. It hasn't been chosen as a Malefactor. It's being chosen right now, trading up. And now we're going to see some mind control head for Bonyth along this top flank. It looks like the bottom is breaking through as well. Look at these Pariahs. They have been completely left to run amok. The front line crumbling. Dewalt has no front line left. He needs to be focusing down those enemy targets. Finally, the Mind Tyrant of Dewalt's is cut down. And I think our Russian Protoss is in a whole lot of trouble. He needs to break away. He needs to disengage. I don't know what happened to all of his Pariahs, but they were liquefied by the army. An Archon as well for extra power. We only have some Zealots coming in, and Dewalt's going to concede right then and there. GG. Bonyth assembles the better composition. And he had great positioning on those bottom pariahs to change everything. I think without those pariahs on the bottom flank, that would have been so much better for Dewalt. But that is not the way that it went. And now Bonyth is up 3-1 in the set. And Dewalt will be picking the next match. Well, the next map, I should say. We're going to go to Quasar Quartet, a 4-spawn map. We'll see how our players are feeling. Dewalt really, he hung with Bonyth. He's hung with him so far. Let's see if that continues. Dewalt in the top right, Bonyth in the bottom right. Our dark green Protoss. And Dewalt must be like saffron? Goldenrod. Goldenrod Protoss. Isn't that a thematic color? Let's get it, boys. Bonyth's earned $50 already. Dewalt at $30. Need some more money. Even things out here. Will he be able to do it? Does he want to try something a bit more cheeky again? Does Bonyth ever want to break from the established order of things? That's another question. Just to intro to you guys the map, we have these 2 mineral fields here to help shorten and truncate this ramp, but you can harvest them to deplete them, and then you can walk over them. Natural over here. Sort of nearby is this weird oblong-looking bridge thing, but it allows you to fork the third, and the third is in a pretty safe place otherwise. However, the third does not block the main from a drop zone, so that's another feature. And of course, that's symmetrical across all 4 spawns, corners. Over in the 6 and 3 and 9 o'clock, we've got double gas bases with what appears to be 7 mineral fields. And at 12 and 6, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mineral fields and double gas bases. That's going to be at 12 and 6. And those are your cardinal bases. So it's essentially 16 base map. Yeah. So, good money. Good options here. Bonyth will 1-gate expand with no combat unit made. He's saving up for his Hierophant is what I would imagine he's going to be doing here. But that is a risk, and the first time we've seen Bonyth change up. Let's see what's going on. People going to think we only have Twilight maps here. Yeah, we had... What did we go? Tesseract, Dyadic Shore, Demilune, and then now this one. But we had another one. What was map 2? Oh, that was Paradise. So technically we did see a jungle map, to be fair. Dewalt's going to scout his opponent first. It could bode well. There is already a Hierophant out here for Bonyth, but remember the military timing is way faster for Sir Dewalt. Ooh, first tag goes the way of Bonyth. Dewalt doesn't have any other units ready to assist right now, so this could be problematic. Oh, it's funny that Bonyth actually pulled back from that. He blinked. Had no need to, but maybe he was worried about the reinforcements. And that's one thing that you can try to do, is you pivot up to the high ground, and then you're like, hey, I got somebody coming to back me up. You better walk away. And so Bonyth conceded. We've had some absolutely banger show matches with StarCraft 1 pros. We did have a really fun one with StarCraft 2 pros last week as well. On mono, just clean sweeping. Earning loads of cash. But I think it's worth pointing out that these 2 players are neck and neck in StarCraft 1 with Bonyth edging him out a lot of the time. Is that going to be the case this time around in Cosmonarchy? Will there be a wider gap? Or will it still be neck and neck? That's the question I have at this point. Dewalt's little wall pylon there. I wonder what this is, like a pocket tech pylon almost, even though it's horizontal spawns. I wonder what he's thinking about doing. It's definitely going to make something here. What is it going to be? A Stargate! I dared to dream of a Stargate in this matchup. We'll see if that ends up coming to fruition. Because I was thinking, I was like, you know, this could be easily scouted from vertical spawn, so what is he actually doing? And then I was thinking, well, maybe it's an air unit production, like, you know, Embassy or Stargate. But, you know, if I say Stargate out loud, people are going to be like, Protocol, nothing in the Stargate is good. Oh, yeah? Well, Dewalt thinks otherwise. Ignore the fact that he also thought Golem first was good. That's all right. He's learning. This faster expansion from Bonyth has only really netted him about 2 extra workers, somewhere between 2 and 3. But still good, you know, every little edge you can get. I love this little outcrop over here. Obviously, there is a low ground pathway, but it takes longer to get to. The natural path that your units will take is sort of straight up that ramp. And when you're up a cliff, shooting down a cliff gives you +1 weapon range. There's no more mischance for shooting up a cliff. So the only disadvantage for the player who's down a cliff is that they're getting engaged upon from a further radius, right? As a reminder, this is a 9-game series. We will play all 9 games. Second Stargate, Exemplar. Great choice. Especially given that the resources are pointed at each other. Air units can come in here, float over this position, and just heckle. So this is a great opportunity for Dewalt to, in theory, shut down mining. Because Exemplars have reasonable range. You can try to equalize with Dracodons and such, but generally speaking, you're going to need something else. And they don't shoot air. Oh, Exemplar and a Gladius. He wants to try both of them, I guess. Preponderance of homies voting for Dewalt here, betting on Dewalt. Face tanking the first couple of shots, this Hierophant will go down, but Bonyth should be able to breach this position. He's got a Servitor for a little bit of extra DPS as well, by the way. But down go all of his Hierophants, so he'll no longer have that attack speed increase. And a couple more units sort of lackadaisically waltz on in, and they did not target down the Dracodon. That was so low HP. That's definitely an error on behalf of Dewalt. But he's going to slow this down enough for his air units to get into the way of things. His gateways are idle. He doesn't have anything coming. And his Warden is only halfway done. Now, his air units are hovered over here. I don't think Bonyth's Witness spotted that. There's an opportunity for the Exemplar to surprise and sort of dissuade this attack. There's nothing to slow them down from the kiting. And the Gladius will keep stacking up damage. It's also on top of the Exemplar. Oh no! Dewalt not quite targeting down the right units here. Scribes are going to get in the fight. Positron just gutting through so many of them. Laying down so much damage. The whole mineral line is wiped. Bonyth had idle gateways for just a moment and it was seized upon. Or Dewalt rather had idle gateways. Bonyth seizes upon the opportunity. Dewalt very much down in the dumps now. The only chance of pressure here is that his extra Exemplars are on the way. He shuts down that Positron immediately. They do deal splash damage, and Bonyth is really pumped up right now. Good cycle away from that wounded Exemplar. It's going to be Dovin on anyway. Should end up being going down, and really this is a casualty that Dewalt can ill afford, particularly given it wasn't a requirement. Think back to that extra Strider that lived. He probably could have killed 2 extra units if he just pops that Strider down here in the fight at the 3 o'clock. He never evacuated his Scribes in a desperate situation. He's got all these production structures, but he can't afford to produce any more air units. Only silver lining is that Bonyth might over-index on anti-air defense, but even then, that's not happening. Third base coming up. Bonyth's going to go ahead and check, make sure there is no third. He shouldn't be able to breach this position, but Positrons can be deceptively durable, or deceptively powerful, I should say. Good split, though. Spreads across the attack speed. Doesn't want to get debuffed either. There you go. So this is an overextension, I think, easily, you can say that, from Bonyth. But Dewalt is showing a little bit of poise. He refuses to concede just right now, and he's even going to go ahead and bop that Witness. So blinding the eyes of Bonyth. Now we've got that static defense coming up to support the natural, seeing it as a weak point. The Pariah, the 4 gate. Things are definitely looking up for Bonyth's side. 2 Exemplars leaving the building. The Gladius has been made. And again, Exemplars are really good at outranging a lot of this stuff. Now, they don't outrange a Warden. But you can kind of sit above the range of the Warden and just heckle the workers and shut down the base that way. So. Only takes 3 volleys from an Exemplar to kill workers, so losing out on that third one definitely hurt Dewalt's position. He doesn't even want to give it a go, but as a reminder, the weapon range of the Exemplar is higher than that of the Dracodon, so Could have maybe tried to range him out, frustrate his position there, but wants to just try to focus on getting back into the swing of things. Not producing workers out of his natural nexus. Bonyth is going to go for the Autocourt. He's actually got a couple. That's interesting. So the Autocourt provides power radius to itself. And it also, so it can produce without needing to wait for the pylon. It can start the warp in, then start a pylon, then leave it out afterwards. So I don't even know if Bonyth knows what that unit is or does, but, you know, might as well. Now, he has let Dewalt walk right in, but is this just going to end up being a trap? Great targeting down onto that Pariah. Multiple Gladiuses are not being focused down by Bonyth, and they can stack up a lot of damage. The Zealot's buying so much time, including helping deal with that Pariah for a very long period of time. The Mind Tyrant is up, but it's got nobody to focus on, and that will be the last of the units up top. As more Zealots rain on in here for Dewalt, he is going to pressure this third base. How has Bonyth given him this opportunity? A lot of these workers are stacked up. We've got a second Gladius to replace the one that fell earlier. Oh no, Bonyth had a Pariah. I don't know where it was, but it's got 8 health left. So let's just say it's not going to be long for this world in another engagement. I do think this is a bit of a mistake from Dewalt to, like, pressure with the Zealots. I think he needs the Zealots to be pressuring, you know, sort of anti-pressure over here. 2 more Pariahs come on down. This should clean house, but it does depend on control. Can Dewalt keep his air units alive? The Zealots, again, buying so much time. And the Gladiuses are stacking up their bullets, their projectiles diving forward. They are being attacked by the Pariahs with that splash damage, but they end up trading. A single Legionnaire has been made. Does that omen mean that Dewalt will be winning? I'm not sure. He could just try to focus down the Mind Tyrant. He wants to stick onto the Nexus. An Aurora arrives just to slow things down. When it takes fatal damage, it blows up on nearby ground units. You can see then it turned around and tried to detonate, just soften him up a little bit. Not sure if Dewalt knew about that, or, you know, you're not stopping to read in the middle of a match when it gets another pro, that's for sure, so he's not going to bother reading that. More Exemplars on the way. Has Dewalt actually caught back up? He's down 10 workers, but Bonyth needs to reset his third, and that felt like a really, really big whiff there. You know, Bonyth giving him the opportunity to make things happen. We've got Pariah and Positron both being chosen as malefactors. Slamming out the worker queues. Nobody daring to go for a 4th base yet, but Bonyth is set up for it at 6 o'clock. Witness spying. Oh, I didn't even realize that you can just walk out into the area over here. Wow, this is a very different... This is the natural choke, actually. I thought this was it. So never mind what I said earlier about this map being safe. Yeah, it's changed a lot. Stargate's idling for now. We got Zealots, Hierophants. The Witness has been spotted. Oh, it was detected by the Bulwark, so needs his own Witness. Has himself an engram. Does feel like a bit of a glass cannon sometimes, even though it has more durability than the other structures. It's expensive, and it takes a while to fire, so... Past a certain point, Mind Tyrants do get a bit unwieldy to control. Hard to remember which ones are linked to which units. So far, Bonyth is doing an okay job of moving through the fields without losing them. More Wardens and Matrixes being set up. Very nice defensive posture here for Dewalt. I don't think this will be breakable, but we're about to find out, I think. Bonyth is coming on in with the Maelstroms. Could focus down those Tyrants. They are in a vulnerable position. Oh, the Pariahs are having a hard time connecting onto anything. This one off to the side hasn't really been able to do any damage whatsoever. There goes the Malefactor. It's gone. And it looks like the Mind Tyrants will be coming in next. Well, there's a couple more units where that came from. Trying his best to hold here. I don't know. Bonyth might be able to break through. Remember, there's no more ground army, really. That last Pariah. Oh, he has to cycle back. Lots of Exemplars, lots of Gladius. Plenty of Hierophants from there. Ban Protoss, says Doglift. We can't do that. What would they play? Off race? Aurora's coming. We have some Gladius afterwards. Oh, there's still a really solid stack here for Dewalt's Air. Ancestral Archives picking up here for Bonyth. Well, okay, here's the problem. The next max could still end Dewalt's time in this map, especially if his army's all the way down here at 6 o'clock. He could just get stabbed out. And it kind of looks like Bonyth realizes this. His witness is being bullied around a little bit. He ends up seeing the air units in the middle of the map. Let's see. If he can trade favorably here, he still has his own Mind Tyrant linked with that Pariah. Oh, it's out of range. It is out of range, and it's going to be nuked down immediately. The air stack of Doom, Sky Toss, reigning supreme perhaps. There's no more crowd control, but it might not matter if the Strider count is still going to be believed. He's trying. It's kind of a close fight. I don't know. The Exemplar count is still looking pretty healthy. Man. Poor Bonyth. He had just lost all of his ground army. He's got a couple Pariahs back at home. It looks like I'm the one who's out of sync with the players because they both have idle workers. I'm going to go ahead and wait for a moment to where the action is not happening per se. You can see it looks like in both of our spheres, you know, like Dewalt has a bunch of idle units as well. So this is where I'm thinking they're both reacting to whatever the other is doing. Cameras are in similar positions here. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're streaming, unfortunately. It would be easy to just check real quick, but Artisan's not quite discovered. It looks like we will have a sort of attack, some kind of attack here. Let's see. This will be the test. If Bonyth responds to this attack, then we'll be in a different sort of position here. Just got more units mixed in. One moment, please. Uno momento. We'll be right back after this regularly scheduled reprogramming here. All right. Let's take a look at Bonyth's stream real quick. Oh, okay. He is... yeah, he's inside the enemy base. if he's not attacking the natural, then we know it's time to. We'll have to go ahead and pop out there. That is unfortunate because that looked like a pretty close comeback. And then it looked like basically what would have happened is Bonyth would have just wiped out the army with his Remax. That's based on what I saw from Bonyth's POV. He had way more stuff, but we can't really call it, even though it looked like maybe 80% victory for Bonyth there, based on what I was seeing. But there will be no rebet. You bet. You already bet. It was a good game. It was a good game. Believers deserve a trillion. It's an ad break. Yeah, I like ad breaks. That's pretty good. If you ever need moving company, like I will probably need soon. Yeah, that's right. Pay Ben money and he'll move your stuff. That was looking like an interesting pivot. We got to see the air toss and how it was working out there. But now we have to go again, and, you know, these players have to figure out, like, wait a second. You can walk into the third base from way outside? There's no way. How's that possible? Well, I'll tell you what's possible. Cross spawns this time around. Bonyth in the top right is our... Oh, he's not just yellow. He's something else. Brass? Oh, it is just regular yellow. That's a really bright yellow. Yellow Protoss. And Dewalt on the bottom left is Ultramarine Protoss. If you think about it, though, their names are very similar because they're 2 syllables. They're both Protoss players. They're both StarCraft 1 pros. Top 4 in pros, right? And they're both playing Cosmonarchy. That's a lot of similarities right there. They got a lot in common. They got a lot in common right now. It looks like Dewalt's going to go for his Nexus opening. I can't believe somebody's actually trying Nexus first in PvP, but you know what? You might as well gamble. You might as well give it a go. He got pretty far ahead in game 1. There it is. The Nexus is warping in. I think we'll have a 2-gate fast expand. Or no, Bonyth did gate expand last game. Is he going to do the same thing? Because gate into expansion, I mean, he's mining gas, so I don't think so. But gate into expansion is a very, very cheeky opener. But you also think after a remake of a game, like say internet crashed or whatever, right? Forget about the desync case. For no matter what the reason might be, and it is going to be Bonyth Gate, Hyro, Expand. That's how he's going to navigate this one. But if you think about it, like after a remake, you often do see a preponderance of cheese. Some sort of cheesy opener takes flight. That does feel like what happens because the players are like, I got to change everything I was doing radically, you know, that as opposed to just flying it through, seeing what's up. Unless Bonyth's Star Sense tingles and he decides to go all the way to the cross scout first. It's going to be 2-gate lattice. Back to the sort of situation Dewalt was in before. Transferring a couple of workers. It wasn't actually necessary, but that's all right. I feel like overall, when I am looking at the build order here, it does depend on if he ends up adding manifolds a bit sooner. Because Dewalt did figure that out in game 1, like he remembered towards the end before the move out. Or maybe he was just mixing them in to mix them in. He also had a golem then. He really likes to make more Hierophants than Bonyth. I've noticed Bonyth makes only like 1 or 2. And Dewalt will make like 6. So very different compositions. They're good at different things then. Nexus complete for both players, but of course Dewalt is up by 3 workers or so. I guess it's like in between 2 and 3. It's one of those cases where you have to wait for the Nexus to finish making. He's actually going to go a little bit more heavy into military production. He has cut workers so that he could afford more military out of it. So a very technical opening, I suppose, because it's Nexus first into more military than your opponent, into more production into your opponent, into more military than your opponent, like cutting workers for it. But he's still got some extra oomph to his worker production. Bonyth has also cut workers a couple of times here and there to make the Ardent on time and things like that. Scribe to scout top left, Vassal to scout top right. He's actually sending a second one. There's plenty of units over here. I wouldn't expect the Vassals to get any kills. Bopped. Maybe that second Vassal can kind of scrape up here and see what the tech is of your opponent. Always important to scout that if you can. Starting to add those manifolds. He's added a single idol. His army's honestly kind of small. Bearing in mind, one of these military units that he has is a Vassal. This one is going to get in and see just the embassy. Does Bonyth want to put the tech down right in front of him? Probably not. So, popping down a pylon. More gates and more lattices. You know, I kind of like the idea of, in PvP specifically, just trying to make way more Dracodons. This is something Smarty Cakes did versus Shambler, and almost won versus, like, a Cantor, our Reaver equivalent, like a bunch of extra units. I think Architects were involved as well. Like, you can do a lot with just mass production of Tier 1 chaff sometimes. And so if Dewalt wants to go that angle, get himself some extra gateways, get himself an extra lattice. That's not something that we typically do see. You know, Dewalt's only going to have 1 or 2 prostration stage units by the time these extra gateways end up hitting for Dewalt. So with Bonyth only having a couple there, he's only going to have a few. Dewalt's only going to have a few to worry about. Trying to shoo away the third base. Kind of see the timing on that. If he confirms that the third base has been started. Oh yeah, you scout a Crucible. You scout that third actually go down. And Bonyth is pretty close to doing that. Yep. The Vassal isn't quite aware of it just yet. Like, it has pretty pitiful vision range, but the Dragons attacked it from next to it, so he should have vision of that. Like, when you see that much infrastructure and tech money being put down, you know that your opponent is going to be defending with less than what you can put out. Now, the little fly in the ointment is Dewalt having his armies scouted out. Grand Library, Mass Gate Drac, Mass Idols out of the Lattice, yeah. So, Bonyth is going to have a difficult hold. He may have to cancel the Nexus, but he still maintains that opportunity as Dewalt is starting to mass out across from him. Remember that Manifold increasing armor pen, so the Nexus will go down. See when the cancel comes in. There it is. Little ominous laugh there from, from the Hierophants. Warden will finish and get a couple of shots off, well, a shot off before the pylon goes down. This is now looking like a really dirty concave from Dewalt. He has more units coming across the map. The Witness from Bonyth sees them on the minimap. Now he's still going to be pressured back. He's got the 1 Pariah. He's got a couple Positrons, which can definitely deal with, like, Manifolds and Idols. They just don't have the armor to deal with that. Another third base pocketed at the 3 o'clock. As more of Dewalt's army starts to set up here. Misrallied Scribe. Well, Idol might have been bait. Not quite going to result in any casualties. Huddling around the bulwark to give extra shields every 2 seconds. Or faster if you have it next to a Crucible. These gateways thrumming, though. Way more units here. Bonyth's choice is going to be a Mind Tyrant behind it. And I think if Dewalt waits for that, if he doesn't choose to initiate the bust sooner, then he's going to be in a weird position, I think. Bonyth can start to seize control of his units. I've also seen that he's tried to get Maelstrom activated. I think he's doing that at a kind of an awkward time. Ooh, okay. So the Nexus is actually... I think Bonyth should not cancel this Nexus, but it's a hard decision to make. So he's going to let it finish. It's going to be a sort of a decoy beacon for Dewalt's army. And Dewalt's choosing not to go ahead and attack it more. The Scribe gets out to make another Nexus somewhere else, most likely. And now there's a third base already starting to work out here for Dewalt, so that's also helping out. Now, can Bonyth bust? I don't think with this army composition. I feel like he needs a little bit more. And right now he's just setting up another Nexus in the bottom right. As this one will take very long amount of time to kill it with an idol. No. Okay. Zealot Pariah in a good spot. Remember the concave. Where is the focus fire from Dewalt? Needs to not just A-move, but also focus down those Pariahs. This one is the Malefactor, but it's too far away from the Mind Tyrant for a second there. And it will end up going down. Only a few units taken over. And now the Zealots of Dewalt are crashing in. Now this is where it can start to turn. The AoE, most of the units for Bonyth aren't fighting. I think they're on a follow order or something. They need to actually get into the fight. His front line is on a follow order. They're not on attack move. He's totally lost the plot on that one. Still, his Pariahs coming in from the north are engaging right on top of those idols. And where is Dewalt's focus? Right now, he's having to dive back. And then you go. Then Bonyth immediately gets activated and charges forward. I can't believe it. He won that fight without one of his Pariahs and like 3 Zealots. Just standing idle. Dewalt's army couldn't punch through the extra power. some of those controlled units being given over. And that third Nexus getting activated. Frustration stage is coming up for Dewalt. He has Atreus is coming. Crucible empowering only his Grand Library right now. All right, back at home. And see, he wants to maybe think about sending a couple of units over to raid that 3 o'clock, but now his army's going to end up is random Dracodon out and off to the side. Okay, all right, Bonyth. A couple of these units just causing a little bit of chaos here. Not going to be too significant. Bonyth trying to set up his own Nexus. More units coming out here from Bonyth. His gateways are idle, but it looks like he's getting ready to set up another tech structure up here in the main. Yeah, Kian in the chat. How do you break the contain? Just don't play. He literally just had like 4 units, including a pariah idle, and still won the fight. Wild stuff. So Dewalt setting up. Still an army at home, just in case. Bonyth starting to set up workers in the bottom right. It looks like Dewalt's figured that out. Or at least he had a... Well, he has this witness out here. He probably scouted it earlier. All right. It has been announced. This army isn't that scary from Bonyth. He hasn't a Cantor with it. I feel like Dewalt can deal with this. Though a lot's going to depend on... I mean, Bonyth has a lot more coming out, waiting to join the rest of the force. Engram, Aquifer. This base is fully stocked, but it has no workers yet. So that's a big one. Dracodon going to go ahead and heckle that base so that the other main doesn't get set up. Oh, just in time, too. Well, that's a tilter. That's just going to make Dewalt move out on the field and see what he can do with the fight. We've got pariahs. We've got plenty of fights over here for both sides. Mind Tyrant kind of awkwardly. Still some empowering this pariah off to the side. So many units being stolen. Some scribes in the middle of the map. That's not going to work out whatsoever. This is a big win, it looks like, for Bonyth. Just had the cleave. That's the right idea. There's some more units waiting on the rally. And it looks like he's going to end up getting crushed a little bit. Oh. I think maybe I'm out of sync from the players again. But they are desperately trying to hold on here. It doesn't look like Dewalt has what it takes to survive back at home, though. I wonder if he's on the wrong position. Go Reese says Kendall. Yeah, I feel like the I think Dewalt might be on like an off version or something. I don't know, because it happened twice in the same spot, right? In the same map, or maybe I guess it could be map specific, but that's unlikely. Could just be something cursed about how the fight went through. We'll take a moment here. I gotta grab my screenshot of my fraud launcher to give the option here. I also have to restart my game, so that's fine. Bonyth, or Dewalt did say that he had a problem launching the game at one point, so I'm worried that maybe that's the source of our trouble. So we're going to debug that very briefly. Very briefly. Oh. Interesting. Well, that's what I'm trying to identify, Crank Enough. They're both on the latest pre-release, because the screenshot from Dewalt doesn't have any versions. His launcher just says latest, but it doesn't have any... I wonder if, like, there's some UI bug. Oh. Okay, hey, it looks like it's working for him now. He's... Okay, great. Doing some live debugging here. It looks like, yeah, something about Dewalt's setup there was definitely a bit whack. For those who don't know, I guess I can do a quick showcase of what I'm talking about here. Yeah, okay, perfect. So if I were to show you guys... let's see here. This is as good of an image as any. So if I was to quickly show you guys on the stream what we're talking about, just so that everybody knows, in case you have this issue yourself in the future. This is the fraud launcher, right? And so right here is what it's supposed to look like. And if I can find Dewalt's... Yeah. So Dewalt's just had the latest option and none of the others. So I don't even know how he was playing with us if he had no versions of pre-release downloaded. So I just wanted to show that to you guys so we can share in our confusion together. Okay. Deep state silenced him? I don't know what that means. Not again. It'll be Near Impact coming up next. It's not a Twilight map, guys! Okay. So based on the map position from, I gathered some information from the players about the game state. We are going to call that one a Dewalt win, or a Bonyth win. So unlucky for the betters, to be honest. But actually, I'm gonna return your guys' stuff because that was like a weird situation. So we won't be doing that quite the same way. So away we go, back into things, and that means that Bonyth leads 4-1 based on that TKO. What would you say? Technical. TDQ, technical disqualification, something like that. Something like that. Dewalt in the top left is our Cosmic Cobalt Protoss, and he is going into the middle of the map very quickly. Interesting. Oh, I saw where that was going. And Bonyth in the bottom right, he is our Tomato Protoss. Well, he might splat here in a second. We'll see. Or he might get in Dewalt's eyes and give him some kind of rare fungal infection. Maybe they're blighted tomatoes. You never know. At least we can blame Dewalt for D6, not the game. You know what? I don't want to blame anybody when you're dealing with like a new environment, new technology. You haven't used it before. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I'm not too worried about it. It's all good. That was a win for Bonyth anyway, if we're looking at the game state positions, but I don't like calling it. Oh, he's actually going to sneak in because you never know if like Bonyth kind of flubs something because he's not as familiar with the process. Then he could be in a really awkward position. Dewalt might like paradoxically hold, similar to when he lost his all his workers in the natural on the first attempt. So, yeah, Beaver, this is a map by Jujic. It's an asteroid map. It's in the space platform tile set for all you mappers out there or you homies out there that know you're mapping. And we are going to have a 2-gate proxy. So the Hierophant might move across the map. Like, if this gets scouted, it's over, right? But why would you scout inside your base? Bonyth is just going to 1-gate expand as well. So, Dewalt's only... Oh, I forgot to do a betting prediction for this one. Do you guys think the map will still be here? Will we still be going after this? Go ahead and place your bets anyway, but it might... I might have to end the veto as the GG is already coming through. A classic move. We are not going to see it scouted. There's even a warden here. So Dewalt wants this to be his homestead. He's going to probably, I guess what we'll imagine here is that he's going to make a nexus inside his opponent's base afterwards. He's putting up a bulwark for the shield battery. A Hierophant has started up. Needs a zealot, right? That's what I would say. Tag the enemy Hierophant. Then you get your zealot on him for DPS. He's going to go Dracodon instead. I mean, with the warden here, and once the bulwark finishes, because it does affect structures as well, this is really good, to be honest. He doesn't have a redundancy pylon. That's my only fear. Okay, now there's a pylon there. Nah, Bonyth sees it. Bonyth sees the pylon. Hi. Trying to get back to range of the warden. He's not quite doing that just yet. Bulwark on his side is definitely going to help him out, that's for sure. Warden now being targeted down, or attempted to be. Oh, he's after the Hierophant, though. It's dead! I don't know. The Warden does take a long time to finish. It's 35 seconds. So Bonyth is right to try to hit it, because it's going to buy him so much more time. As a second gateway comes in, he's making a Matrix, which has gone underneath Dewalt's nose this whole time. There's his own Warden, targeting down the secondary one. Oh, it's kind of wasting its damage then, if that's what it's focused on. Not being changed up. Now, is Dewalt going to cancel it in time? That's the question. His own Warden finishes. It's within range of the Bulwark as well. Oh, he finally drops the Hierophant, and the other one is very low. His focus fire has been very poor, it must be said. Finally, his own Warden will go down, putting down another one to soak up more damage. Man, look at all of Bonyth's almost dead Dracodons, and he's just none of them are being focused down right now. Shared base map, yeah, that's what's going on here, dog. I don't know, man. Losing another Hierophant, but another one does end up being made. Worker count here still in favor of Bonyth, remember. He has to cancel that Warden. Rebuild the one that, one of them that was destroyed. Ooh, nice little glancing blow. It's caught. It's caught trying to path around. Got more Drakodons being made right now. A third gateway! Dewalt has the money behind this. I can't believe what we're seeing. Neither player wanting to admit defeat just yet. And why would they? It's still anybody's match right now, it feels like. Huddling around the Matrix. His Drakodons, one of them is so low. Oh, I feel like it's dead. It's going to get dove on immediately with a Hierophant. Ooh, Dewalt's Hierophant solo. He does have another one. More units popping in. I really feel like a Zealot or two would do a nice amount of damage here. For either side, really. Anyone want any melee? No? You just want to keep the ranged units going? Now trying to range down the gateway. Instead, they'll trade the gateway for the Warden, it seems. Now Dewalt dives forward. Immediately tagging that one. He could just break down the Matrix. So he's giving it a lot of respect, it feels like. Now a second Bulwark being made. That's going to get focused down immediately, not canceled. Third gateway. What's he want to do with that? Oh, his Hierophant. Oh, his Hierophant. It's so low. Almost goes down there. That's going to be another dead Warden. Good cancel from Dewalt. Strider count starting to get a little bit scary here on both sides, really. Where's the focus fire? They trade one Drakodon for one Drakodon, it looks like. Corpse looks a little bit less fresh because of the consumption from the Hierophant. He's got 3 Hierophants. Warden up here. The Bulwark now going to get nuked down by the Striders. But at the cost of a gateway, it looks like. Unless he wants to try to force him away. I don't think he can. Dewalt refusing to play standard. In his face. In his face. I can't believe it. By the way, this Nexus has been up for a while now. Bonyth on 2 base. And a gateway to come in and flank with some Striders. It looks like Dewalt only now noticed. I can't believe it. The gateway goes down, but he still has 2 gate. He's going to try to range that one down, and as soon as anything shows their face to the south, he dives on him. So should still be able to eliminate the production, and eventually it gets too much for Bonyth to handle. That's the idea. Pylon soaking up some damage, another Drakodon going down. He's only got 5 left. He does take out a Hierophant. Immediately dives onto this one that just finishes. Oh, it can't get anything done. His shields are down as well. That's 40% of its durability, mind you. Oh no, another Drakodon's going to die, I think. You can ignore Matrix damage. They do not do that much. Their value is in their shield sustain, and you just don't need to worry about that as much. There it goes. I think Dewalt has broken through. The Scribes have to be pulled, but the gateway is in the way, and they can't get the drill off. Oh, the humanity. Terrans watch on and laugh. Zerg watch on and question. Protoss watch on in horror. Bonyth has been dismantled. This was supposed to be a rush game, and you know it's going to end before 10 minutes, but I don't know if it was as fast as Dewalt was thinking it would be. GG. And he posts a dub. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. I can't believe that was the way that went. So we are 4-2. 5-game series still very much alive here. And Bonyth will pick our next map. Ooh, okay. We're going to Frozen Sylphid for our next map. 3-spawn Ice World variant of Neo Sylphid, of course. That is a game worthy of Mame Street. Yeah. You aren't wrong. You aren't wrong. Climbing up, back up after his installation issues, I guess you could say. Showmatch was tired of being facilitated only on Twilight maps. All right, lads, we're getting into our next matchup bright and early, quick and fast. And we have the 12 o'clock spawn for Dewalt is our Ultramarine Protoss, and Bonyth at the bottom right is our green Protoss. Dewalt's already scoping out the middle of the map for a proxy, by the way. That's what his camera was just doing. So we already know what's coming. We already know what is about to happen. Thank you for joining us for this lovely show match. Dewalt's scoreline will be updated, and we will have another Gamba. Another prediction for you guys to enjoy. Dewalt just closed the gap a little bit. Bonyth gateway. Dewalt gateway. You know, I do feel like overall, Bonyth has shown a better strategic understanding of Cosmonarchy specific things. And Dewalt has shown some understanding of those for sure, but also just cheek. Just wild stuff. Nexus first multiple times. Just absurd. Absurd things. Yes, Dewalt showed creativity. That's a good way to put it. I do think that last game, even though it's only a 7-minute game, it should be included in like a selection of the replays here. Like game 1, pretty good for showcase, even though it ended a bit anticlimactically because of course we saw that Bonyth wasn't actually as far ahead as Dewalt thought. I think game 1. Then we had Game 2 and Game 3. Game 2 is a write-off. Game 3 was the Dyadic Shore push, I think, where Dewalt just kind of bopped him in the early game, so not really needed for the showcase either. Game 2 Paradise, Game 3 the Dyadic Shore. Game 4 was... It wasn't Quasar Quartet yet. That was Game 5. Demilune. And that one was probably a good showcase as well, where it was just like the big army fight with Pariah Mind Tyrant. Both players kind of recognizing that it's a thing, but not really, like Dewalt not really knowing how to use it as much. Scouting with his Hierophant, sees nothing in bottom left. Had the Quasar Quartet game not ended in the way that it did on the broadcast, it would be a totally fine game to include because Bonyth just held steady the whole time. Got his advantage despite the Nexus first from Dewalt. And then the last game, just absolutely absurd. Need to see that in action. Bonyth will end up scouting the Triple Strider move out here. His Scribe will be gotten the better of, but he's got a Warden, he's got a Bulwark. It's going to finish up during the raid, so we shouldn't see much of anything. He's actually got his own Triple Striders as well, and they hit harder. It is a 3-gate. 3-gate no expand versus 1-gate expand. A lot of resources put into static defense as well. This could end up looking very similarly to how the last game looked, even though Dewalt actually has built his production in his own base. Ardent Authority starting, so it's 1-gate expand tech. A very greedy opener here. Military light opener. And it's just pure Dracodon production behind this, which points to Dewalt understanding that he can just overwhelm his opponent through sheer numbers. Once you get to the point where you've got, you know, the next couple of Striders, yeah, joining up, absolutely you can start taking these kinds of fights. Now, he isn't focusing down the right thing, in my opinion. He's trying to attack the Bulwark, and he doesn't have that supremacy of combat units just yet. So he's kind of throwing away a little bit of his advantage, but he will restock faster. He's got his own Hierophant still. So that looks really bad for Dewalt, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It wasn't great. But with the Bulwark coming back up so soon, I don't know. He's got a couple of Striders. He's got a forward gate here, it looks like. Feels like his Strider count would be much more respectable for this attack a little bit later. And there it goes. That's going to be a dead Hierophant. No more attack speed increase for Bonyth, and you can see he's starting to hemorrhage some units as a result. Warden is going to take a beating before it goes down. The Scribe's adding in. Oh, just a couple more Warden Dracodon shots would have finished that off, but he pulls away to snipe the Scribes. Forward Bulwark, that's what he wants first. His Dracodons have been production has been a bit idle right now, actually. He's going to come in and try to nuke down that Warden. It has restored its shields. If he can cycle through the less wounded ones, he can finish the job. Well and good there. The Bulwark added so much. But again, where's Bonyth's production, right? He's got a Positron coming. That's not going to help him. He's just going to try to desperately hold. He does have an embassy. I think Bonyth might just try to do a drop. behind this very aggressive move. But the Positron getting focused down immediately, it is going to live with 7 health. Again, if the Strider count was just a little bit better, you can see the shields coming right back up here as Dewalt puts down a gateway. No surprises. More Dracodons coming. Honestly, if he ends up finishing this off with more Dracodons, it could be a thing. The Witness before, it's an Incantor coming behind it. Okay. Starts to make a little bit more sense. Once you get to a point where you have this many Dracodons, it really doesn't matter the fact that you have the Bulwark. It's not that helpful. The Bulwark shields every 2 seconds from almost a whole Dracodon shot. And so you can tell, like, as you get so many Dracodons, that doesn't really matter anymore. Zealots are coming in. The Warden count is very nice. Don't get me wrong. You're going to get a lot of damage out of them, way more than you would get with Matrixes, and I think that's something Bonyth has recognized after that last game. Oh, that's going to be a connection. Oh, no. He's just going to dive on it. I don't think that's the right move, but he is going to actually eliminate it. It's just at what cost, you know? Bonyth is still on 2 base, still mining well. His worker lead is only 7 after losing all those workers, but he was mining for a good while. Still not very much unit production here. The Witness is done. We're getting Artisans out. More forward production. I mean, he lost so many Dracodons to that. One thing that you have to remember is that in StarCraft 1 PvP, like, Reaver destroys Dragoon for so long if it's in the hands of good control. He didn't know there was no Envoy. And yeah, when the Witness comes in here and sees it's just naked 3-gate with nothing else going on behind it, no expansion, Bonyth can be pretty confident here. His first Incantor, well, his second Incantor is done. He's going to make another one so that he'll have a duo for defense. The Pylon's kind of bait there as well because it doesn't actually mean anything. The Vassal comes in to see what's going on here. Draw some of the Striders away, and that's perfect for Dewalt. He can try to dive in on top of that Incantor. You can see Bonyth uncomfortable, tries to move it away. Still several connections going down. Oh no, what is he actually even going to focus on here? There's so many. The Scribes surround him and wipe his army. GG! Bonyth holds! Secures the majority matches won in the show match. But we have a couple more games to play. That's 5-2, so we have 2 more matches. Yeah, it's only on high, not extra high. But yeah, really phenomenal hold there from Bonyth. The fact that he was able to do that. It did not look easy. It did not look easy whatsoever. We're going to Serenity. Now, this is a map with the shortest rush distance in the whole pool. I don't know what they're going to do with that information exactly, but that is a factor for you guys. Whether they even notice it and account for it, I don't know. Not sure if that's going to be something that they do. And here we go, getting right into it. I'm unaccustomed to how fast our players are at readying up in this series. They're hankering. They want to get that violence going. Bonyth in the top right is now our Ultramarine Protoss, a color usually reserved for Dewalt. And Dewalt in the bottom left is our... This isn't just regular red. Blood Protoss. Gamble with your blood. Bulwark definitely helped out in that hold. Some new respect gained for the static defense. I feel like the 1-gate expand builds that Bonyth has been doing do have some legs in PvP, but one thing we haven't seen is the Legionnaire spam. And I'm really surprised, like, Dewalt doesn't even seem to know about it. Oh, look at this, Bonyth checking his base. Did you send your first worker to proxy in my base? Did you do that? I mean, that's a good question, right? That's, like, something you got to think about. Either that or, yeah, he's checking all the proxy spots. Dewalt's mind games have been successful. Wild scenes. But Dewalt will take the Nexus actually before Bonyth does. Off of 1 gate expand. There it is. Doesn't end up scouting his opponent. Neither player has really bothered worker scouting, right? You're going to scout with their first military unit. I love when, you know, other races are like, man, that other race's stuff is really good. And that race, the players who play that race, they're like, oh, it's kind of all right, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. Not really that good. Terran Cabal posting about the insanity of static defense. Meanwhile, the Protoss Cabal. I don't know. Well, there's the Warden Bulwark start for Bonyth. If Nebline was here, he would be like, I don't know why they're not building a Matrix. I can't do an Aussie accent right now off the dome, so that's the best you get. I don't have Godwheat here to cast, so he can't pretend to be Nebline. I love Khazit Crank. Warden Bulwark for Dewalt as well. Ooh. And not powered by a pylon. Ooh. Both players going to be going for that embassy. Bonyth's is a little bit behind Dewalt's. Shouldn't be too significant, though. Workers ever so slightly in our blood Protoss's lead. I forget where I'm pulling the blood quote from. I think it's Warlord's Battlecry 3. Or Warlord's Battlecry in general. But it could be worse, guys. I could be quoting, I am the Void. That's a real quote from Warlord's Battlecry. The blackguard. And who wants to be the Void anyway? I am the nothing? I am the empty? Dewalt's going Stargate again! Hell yeah. And he's making artisans for this island base. That's pretty cheeky. Witness instead for Bonyth. He'll scout out that it's air toss again. Sky toss. Legacy of the Nothing. Yeah, that almost sounds like an epic thing if you think about it, Beaver, because it's like, oh my god. Bonyth also going artisan, by the way, and is it rallied? It's not rallied anywhere, but... Oh, I see. Biddy B was cheeky. He subbed this out. Speaking of blood, he subbed it out for blood-covered tiles because, you know, all of the phalanxes that dropped there. I love that. So the witnesses cross paths. Dewalt knows the complexion of his opponent, knows what's coming. Got his own Hierophant inside the main base in case he needs to defend against anything in particular. Prostration stage coming up here for Sir Bonyth, and we'll see... what our Polish Protoss wants to do with that as Dewalt. Got himself a Crucible. The witness is reminded of to which base he belongs. Oh, he's found it. A little bit of a lag spike here from our players as well, but that's all right. Now, the Witness was scouting the main a lot. I think Bonyth also saw the Stargate, but it's worth pointing out the Bulwark is detection, right? It can't detect up a cliff, but it can detect down a cliff. So I'm not sure that it did, actually. Bonyth might be a bit in the dark about the tech choice. He might just think, oh, Dewalt's not building tech, so I can get ahead by building my own tech. And there's the double prostration as a result. Witness is spotted inside Bonyth's base. An Argosy on the way for Sir Dewalt. Okay, Russian Protoss look into the skies for a solution. Crucible to empower his 2 prostration stages. Has his pariahs. Coming on out. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you guys this new tech. We don't have the wireframes in for the Artisan yet, but check that out. They're not deselecting themselves. It's beautiful. People in the chat talking about this is a bit of a corner cutter build from Dewalt because he's gone Gate Nexus, Stargate, Crucible, Argosy. Hey, don't forget there was an Embassy in there, second Argosy. What's he going to make out of the first one? I think he was waiting on gas or something? I don't know. Solarian? Tell me it's a Solarian, baby. Yeah. Now, as I recall, in StarCraft 1, the only scene... Like, the only valid use case, and even in pro play, it's, like, not exactly considered valid per se, but the valid use case that a lot of people have, Bonyth sees this, by the way, for mind control, originally, is PvP, you go Dark Archon mind control against carriers. Because it's just a point-and-click spell, and you just seize the unit, right? So, that's interesting to me. I don't think Tyranny will be as good. But instead, yeah, Bonyth sees he needs to attack. The pressure has been put on him. And, by the way, Bonyth is the carrier guy. Oh, no, it got canceled. Why did Dewalt cancel it? That might be an error that costs him. We'll see. Because this attack is going to commence. He's got an okay concave, really good static defense structures. Crucible empowers the static defense to attack faster. So what is Bonyth going to do? He thinks this is 2 base, hasn't spotted the 9 o'clock position just yet. Zealot's pivoting away. He's going to try to maybe take a 4th at the 4 o'clock, fittingly. Of course, Bonyth's 3rd has been up for some time now. He's got some autocords just hanging. Dewalt has a 1st Solarian arrival, 2nd one on the way. Crucible does increase the training time by quite a bit, by the way. It's a 50% increase. So he effectively has 3 Argosy production off of just 2. Put it another way. Nice little value prop for you. It looks like instead of trying to attack, Bonyth is going to see if he can scale up the tech tree his own way. Ancestral Archives on the way for him. Mind Tyrant up Tecton is very nutty versus the ground, but the ground is not going to be where the problems lie. Funnily enough, the Crucible also empowers things like the Bulwark shield regen speed. Lifted Terran structure movement speed is also counted. It's anything. The idea was that anything a structure does, beside like a completed structure does, so it can't be while it's incomplete. Anything like that is supposed to be done faster. So it's a bit silly to think about like all the extra permutations that made. So Bonyth has confirmed the 9 o'clock position. His own 4 o'clock is coming up now. Worker transfer has arrived. It looks like he's getting ready to quash that. He wants to do so before Dewalt is ready to move out. A Dyadic is on the way. That's the Arbiter equivalent. So we're going to have 5 Solarians relatively quickly here. I was going to say off of 2 base, but obviously that's not true. We do have all of this. Plus the Artisans in the back. Got gas caps everywhere. We don't even see Bonyth going for Aquifers yet. That's our simulator. Just kind of cycling back and forth in the middle of the map right about now. The Dyadic has arrived. It cloaks structures, as you can see. But anytime a unit attacks under Steady Shroud like this, it will reveal itself. So it looks like Bonyth is just about ready to slam down at this 9 o'clock position. But this is as Dewalt is getting ready to move out. So I feel like Bonyth has maybe waited a little bit too long. And he's going to be in the middle of attacking this base as Dewalt comes into it to be somewhat consequential here. The Dyadic could be focused down, but I guess Bonyth didn't want it. Where's the spell casting from it? That's what I want to know. Maybe Dewalt didn't think about quite how the cloaking field would work. There's the stasis right on top of one of those mine tyrants and a big clump of the army, but it's only for a short time. Big split back, great stutter step there from Dewalt. His ground army is starting to get cleaved. The Dyadic will not stay alive for very long. Needs to be splitting versus all the splash damage. It looks like he's lost a Solarian, or maybe one of them, yeah, just never joined the fight. And now with the Hierophant slowing down one of them as well, he needs to cycle away. He needs to wait for the stewards to restock. The Pariah's just almost taunting, it feels like, but they will start to go down. The ground army is mostly made up of Striders now. Another Malefactor restocking. The Mine Tyrants just being ignored. The Solarians could simply right-click them. Finally, it looks like maybe for a second there Dewalt was thinking about focusing him down. It's only got 35 health. It's still not enough. Wanders into the static defense, but a Solarian has been controlled. GG. And we go to one final game where Bonyth cracks on through. A little bit different control there, I feel like, would have gone such a long way. Bonyth's, ground army was mostly made up of the Pariahs. That was the scary thing. He also had Archons. And when they die, they have that Psy Storm. They cast Storm there. And that works out very, very nicely. But, yeah, that's an unfortunate one. That feels bad for our boy. Oh, we see now what he did. He said cancel his C in StarCraft 1, and he didn't know that it was different here. He's probably using Grid, I guess. Cancel 2 or 3 carriers at the end of their production time. That's unfortunate for the guy. Because I saw one of them get canceled. I was like, what? What? We're going to go to Rageslave coming up next. Coming up last, I should say. we might end up unshackling Dewalt in the final steps here. All right, guys, it's going to be our final prediction, our final gambit, and it's going to be on Rageslave. And you know what? I guess Dewalt must not be having too much of a bad time, because he said, like, he was asking me about how to turn Grid off because I told him it was an option just now. And he's like, okay, I'll try it next time. Well, if there's going to be a next time, you know what that means. How much more money can Bonyth make in a short order? Is he going to walk away with 90 bucks? That's a real possibility. Old School Deus, thank you for the follow. You guys want to follow the stream, pump up our numbers. We do regular show matches with foreign StarCraft 1 pros We got some South Koreans starting to pick up the game as well, although I think they're more in the StarCraft 2 camp. But you never know, man. You never know how it goes. So we'll be doing stuff like this for quite a while. And if you want to support the initiative, we've got streamlabs.com/pronogo that you can go ahead and donate to. Help pay us our bills for the show matches. We are going to go ahead and get that Gamba started and get it up and running. Ladies and gentlemen, our final match between Bonyth and Dewalt. It's been quite the hell of a ride, especially with Dewalt's creativity, I'll tell you that much. And here we go. Bonyth in the top left, our maroon Protoss. Dewalt in the bottom left. Is he back to Palatinate Blue? I feel like this is a different color than that. I'll say Palatinate Blue, though. It is. It is. That's the same color he started off with in Game 1. Does that mean he's Nexus firsting? I don't know. That's what he did Game 1. It's a possibility. There you go. I wanted to give him the answer to that. He asked it in Discord, and I don't know if he's going to be looking there. Well, it's going to be a one-gate opener. Dewalt might want to try some a Cantor style. We call them a Cantor here, but Reaver is their old name. They do behave very differently. I don't know if Dewalt really clocked that when he was fighting them, but instead of having a Scarab that kind of winds around and does all sorts of stuff, yeah, it just wound up being a little bit different, right? So we'll see how that one develops over time. By the way, Rageslave is a port of Neo Rush Hour, but I think I'd class it more as adaptation now, because sure, you got the naturals, and it's fairly bog standard as far as that is concerned, but there's a lot more buildable space out here, and we go down to a low ground asteroid terrain afterwards. So we'll see what the players reveal that for us shortly, but that does have a very significant change and impact in the game. We also have stumbled upon our farther rush distance spawns. Anytime the 3 o'clock position is activated, it's a little bit easier to rush down early on. Not to say it's impossible in these configurations, just that it's a little bit harder. Now, rising up over here is the Hierophant, and we'll see Bonyths. They exchange their first shots. Look at this. He pulls the Scribe to help with the fight. Any little bit of DPS he can get. Oh, he wiggles away. Wasn't expecting that one, to be honest with you. Scribe was earmarked for bottom right, but looks like it's going to come on up and step right up and see what we can do. Does Dewalt want a forward Ardent at some point? That might be what he was thinking when he was asking about that. Got a little treasury in the middle of the map here. You can return to neutral town centers and allied town centers as it happens. Warden Bulwark, once again established. It is just going to be a one-gate tech here, I think. The embassy coming out. This looks very similar to Frozen Sylphid. Double Hierophant for Bonyth is new, though. He does usually like his Dracodons a bit more. And before the Bulwark comes out, I mean, this bullying back the Hierophant there. This feels like the nameplates have been reversed. Obviously not, because Dewalt is building a pylon, so we know it's definitely Dewalt. His own Bulwark being proxied. I love it. The shields are just about back up if he wants to try and take another stab at the Hierophant. Going to have to deal a little bit of extra DPS, however. It is only 2-gate for him. It's not as all-in as it was when he was doing 3-gate on Frozen Sylphid. And there's the forward Ardent that we were talking about. I was going to just try to wail on that Bulwark. It doesn't restore its own shields. So it's a little bit of a weakness there. And, the Hierophant has a distinctive spot on it compared to the Dracodons. It's a bit easier to figure it out. Yeah, there you go. So now, there is no Bulwark for Bonyth. He's warping in another one. It will be under the protection of that Warden. But a lot more vulnerable without the Bulwark actually being here. And you can tell, yeah, Dewalt's taking my advice to heart, apparently. Did I overstep by giving him the answer in-game? I don't know. I don't know. But surely Bonyth can star sense that this is happening. He's got his own Ardent coming up, but it's going to be a while before he can activate that. Gateway. Precipice of his opponent's natural. And remember, the economy is going to be so much better here for Bonyth. With the exception... Oh, never mind. He's going to dive forward. We'll hold that thought. That dragon in the front is going to be killed, but it is at the very least traded for a Hierophant, which are very gas intensive. Third Warden. The Matrix will help out with some shields as well. Here comes the Acantor, boys. I still feel like an Envoy here could be really big for Bonyth. He could just drop the unprotected main base of Dewalt. Oh, he almost got the Scribe. That would have been nice. Didn't have the Strider count for it, unfortunately. A little bit of lackadaisical positioning here, and here comes the Acantor. Slow crawling it. Got great range. You won't be able to do much versus this thing. Can't cancel it quite as late as you can. And oh, wait, Dewalt, you're letting him just run right up on you. Oh, the Heartbreaker. Warden will go down. A Strider will go down. It's pretty cost efficient here for Dewalt. And his second Acantor is almost done, but it would have been a lot scarier if his first one was still alive. So definitely an error there. Kicking himself for that one. He's got so many more Striders. This looks dominating for Dewalt, despite the economic deficit that he's in, courtesy of Bonyth actually having an expansion. Okay, dove on yet again, but the power here is just a little bit too minimal, it feels like. The Bulwark saving his life. Now dives on his opponent's Acantor, tries to get to that high ground. It's far away from any sustain. Oh, it's out of range. The Acantor for Bonyth falling, and now the connections are big. Dewalt starting to rack up the kills. The Bulwark cannot shield sustain forever. But has Dewalt actually bit off a little bit more than he can chew with this? It takes a lot longer to break these positions than you think. There goes the Bulwark, finally taken out. Workers a little bit more even than they were before. Actually, Dewalt has the advantage, especially as those last two end up falling. A more forward pylon. This one's a bait. Nothing is actually powered. Oh, no, I tell a lie. The Warden is powered by it. But, you know, the Acantors are going to start tearing that down. Can Bonyth do anything in this situation? I think Dewalt is going to claim the last $10. Holla, holla, get dollar. The defenses are cracked wide open. A desperate bid. He's got an Artisan for anti-air for an air-based threat. Yeah, the Draconins aren't going to let you get much out of there. Trying to cycle back. Ay, ay, ay. Dewalt will take that money straight to the bank. Oh, wait, hold on. He still wipes out the Acantors. The problem is, Dewalt's got 3 Strider production. Nice little moves at the very end there, but Bonyth will hold on to this money. Dewalt's mugging him for it. And Bonyth is like, no, you've sawed off my legs, but I still won't give it up. I can't believe it, dude. Oh, that dove on right onto that Acantor. Oh, actually, not quite. Get a couple of shots. Needs to play around it. Oh, he's actually got multiple connections. I was surprised, but good dodges there. And Dewalt has a Matrix and a Bulwark coming up. Yeah, I think we can just about call this one, guys. Hats off, though. The fact that Bonyth extended it for so long. He has to GG out. Dewalt gets a little bit of a smirk for his final showing in his first Cosmonarchy show match. And he'll go home with $50. You gotta call GG's. You gotta say they did a good job. Bonyth, this is the expected outcome. Bonyth has been playing for weeks. He's been grinding out matches. He's been playing against all the races. The fact that Dewalt has basically never played is pretty awesome that he was able to score some dubs. You know what I mean? Like, I was very surprised. Yeah. Listen, all the pros are scary. All the pros are scary with regards to playing Cosmonarchy. Sure, they might take a little bit of time to really get moving, but You know how it is. You know how it is. Listen, guys, it's been a glorious time showing you guys the Bonyth and Dewalt PvP action. Dewalt being able to score some dubs, making it really happen, making it really quite exciting. His creativity, his cheesiness. I will be sending out the cash flow for them, of course. I appreciate all of our donors. We had Neblime and Shambler donate before the show match began. We had none other than Lucky Noob send in an extra $5 dues. Appreciate all y'all. And I will be moving out a little bit more, a little bit more time before our next show match. It has yet to be announced even. Usually I announce them quite in advance. There'll be a little bit of time before we dive into that. However, I am very excited to bring you guys more show matches in the future. If you have any suggestions for pros that you think would make a good first-time debut, let me know. But we might decide to go for a little bit more of the experienced players. You know what I mean? Like maybe we say, okay, you've participated in one show match, like Dewalt and Wolfix and Ultra. Well, Ultra's another Terran player. Maybe we would say that, Dewalt, Wolfix. I'm not actually sure. Who would be a Zerg that only participated in one? I guess it would be Young Yakov if he wants to play again from StarCraft 2, but I'm not so sure. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Jadong, Artosis. Well, Artosis is more possible. It's a lot more possible to have Artosis join us. Kendra Bellick, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. We will be, I think we'll raid Zeke. Zeke plays a lot of Cosmonarchy. He has qualified into the battlement stage of Acropolis 4 already. The first qualifier was not won by him, but it was won by somebody who was pre-qualified. So we're going to go ahead and give him a shout. He's a great Zerg player. So if you're on Twitch or you want to be on Twitch so that you can support him, feel free to pile in for the raid. Send him some love. And send some love the way of Bonyth and Dewalt when they stream next. It's a great time seeing them. GGs have to be exchanged. The money will be changing hands. And it'll be a great time indeed for all of the homies. With all that said, we are good to go. Just about. It doesn't say I can raid now. I don't know why. It's gone. It's dismiss this message. No? Oh yeah, I see. It's taking a little bit more time. There you go. We know how things are. You know, we're a professional Twitch streamer. All right. Cosmonarchy has another match to its name, another show match in the can. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll be back pretty soon with more. Pretty soon with more action.